Yeah, that's right, Joe. What we're hearing right now from the vice president's office is that, in fact, the vice president has been tested this morning and has tested negative for COVID-19. Here's the tweet from Devin O'Malley, who's the press secretary for the vice president. He says, as has been routine for months, Vice President Pence is tested for COVID-19 every day. This morning, Vice President Pence and the Second Lady tested negative for COVID-19. Vice President Pence remains in good health and wishes the Trumps well in their recovery. So that was one of the key pieces of information we needed to know in terms of just the basics of continuity of government here. How far has this circle of infection spread? Which high officials in the U.S. government have been infected? Clearly now, the Vice President's office saying he has a negative test. That is good and encouraging news. The other high-ranking official that we'll wait for here, high-ranking former official that we'll wait for here is the former Vice President Joe Biden, who was obviously in close quarters with the president earlier this week at that debate stage on Tuesday night. We have not heard yet from the Biden campaign what their plans are, or statement, or any testing situation with Vice President Biden. So we'll wait for that piece of information. But for now, some good news on the part of the Vice President, Mike Pence. Guys, back over to you.
Dr. Gottlieb, just wanted to get your thoughts on testing in this circumstance. We're getting a negative test from the vice president, which is a very positive, excuse the pun, development in this instance. But the question is what the incubation period is. We have heard, obviously, of instances where people have come in contact with people who have been COVID positive. The day or two after, they don't test positive, they test negative, and then several days later, they test positive. So what would be the quarantine situation with which you would be prescribing people who have come in contact with the president, even if they were to test negative?
Right. And I've been in touch with the White House this morning. I think the last time the vice president might have been in contact with the president is on Monday. I believe after Tuesday, he has not been in contact with the president. Look, the incubation period is up to 14 days. The median is about 4 to 5 days. And so the vice president would continue to be tested on a daily basis to make sure he continues to be negative. We also would want to understand the test that was used to screen the vice president. How sensitive was it? As I said at the beginning of the show, the White House has been using the Abbott ID Now as a screening tool for visitors to the White House as well as White House staff. And the test is a good test in the hands of a clinician, but it's not a very sensitive and specific test when used as a screening tool to try to screen an asymptomatic population. So it's not the best test. It's not appropriately fit for the purpose in which they're using it. And we've talked many times on this show about this fact and about the idea of introducing the Cepheid gene expert into the White House, which is a much more sensitive and specific test and less likely to miss a positive case or an early positive case. So I think that the White House is going to need to rethink the technology that they're using as a screening tool to create a bubble around the president, because clearly it does appear, at least right now, based on what we know, that one or more people were able to get through that screening process.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.